Hi folks, I've got Jack Browning in here with me today, a rising country star, a local boy to me, Chelmsford, just down the road in Sudbury, little town. And we've had a bit of a jam, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, and how did you get into country music?
I guess my old man had a big thing to do with it.
Yeah.
He coloured a lot of, I guess, my music DNA.
Yeah.
I was kind of brought up on a lot of Dylan, Tom Petty, but I remember he was a big Johnny Cash fan.
Yeah.
And I've said it before, but I think like the first song I remember being obsessed with was Highwayman.
Right. Oh yeah.
I remember the next day I kind of scaled his CD cabinet to try and find it. And,
As a young child.
My room. Yeah.
Yeah. My son William, who plays in my band as bass player, he did the same thing. You know.
Yeah.
Mucking around, breaking my CDs and doing all that sort of
that's
stuff.
it. I've probably got some
putting them in the VH video machine and trying to play them.
Yeah, so I guess that was like the main thing, and then kind of rediscovered a lot of it during COVID. You know, I was playing a lot of rock stuff and blues stuff, touring around, and during COVID, obviously, it was just me and guitar.
So when did you start playing guitar?
I was kind of a late starter. I tried it 2 or 3 times before it stuck. I knew I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
From a pretty young age, but it wasn't until I was about 13 that it stuck. So kind of half a lifetime ago now, but kind of still a late starter compared to a lot of my buddies. I was just really bad at knuckling down with it, and kind of fumbled my way through some teachers before I found one that really worked.
Somebody that can actually trigger the things inside.
Exactly.
To help you get it out. Yeah, but you're a songwriter as well.
Yeah.
And with your permission, we'll have a bit of a jam and record it.
Great.
And show some of the folks what you can do.
Yeah.
And on this podcast, we'll also announce when your tour dates are around here and who you're playing with and things. But I better get a little bit more of your history before you do that.
Yeah, for sure.
So it was around about COVID when you started doing this sort of thing, really stepping into the country.
Definitely, yeah. A few years before that, I'd kind of discovered some of the modern kind of old country resurgence, you know. But just wasn't really playing it a lot, and then during COVID, kind of with the forced limitations of being locked up in my spare room for, for a couple of years, kind of just started playing stuff that worked with just me and a guitar, and it kind of got more and more country.
Which, like all good songwriters do, it's being stuck alone for a while, and just coming up with a lyric and whatever.
Yeah, basically. And for like 2.5 years, I was the worst singer-songwriter ever. I wasn't singing.
Well, I think we all have to go through that.
Yeah, for sure.
I got recordings of me as a 13-year-old. My first recording was made when I was 13. The recorded sound in Marble Arch, and they forwarded it to Decca, and I got a record contract from that.
Amazing.
But I was terrified and didn't take it. I thought I was rubbish. I couldn't see what they could see.
Yeah, I think that's the thing though. I'm having that like right now, playing with you a second ago and recently, whereas, I'm kind of looking at what I'm doing objectively and, Jack, 2 years ago, would have killed to do what I'm doing at the minute.
Yeah.
So,
but might not have been prepared for it.
Yeah, exactly.
But it happens a lot, I think, you get sort of in the deep end before you even know it. It's happened to me my whole life. I've never actually ever done an interview, for a job or an audition. So it just happened, my mug happened to be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, that's how it goes though,
It is, yeah.
Like, I still remember the first big gig I ever had, and I apologise, Aaron, if you're watching, but my buddy Aaron was like, I need a new bass player, and I was kind of just out of college, and he was like, you play bass, right? And I was like, yeah, man. And hung up the phone and ordered my first bass guitar.
Exactly.
That's
what you got to do. That's what you got to do.
Yeah. So
say yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything. Say yes to everything.
Yeah.
And the things that you don't really want to do will fall by the wayside.
Yeah, for sure.
That's exactly how I've done it over the years. Do I want to do the tour? Yeah. A month later, something else come in or something like that. It's difficult really to get yourself a bad name if you do that too much. It's just a case of your heart tells you.
Yeah, exactly.
When it's time to join and when it's time to leave.
And sometimes, especially like when you're figuring out kind of what you're doing, it's you have to do the stuff that maybe you're not so keen on or stoked about.
Yeah,
kind of learn what does make you tick.
Well, that's right, and you've got to play in front of an audience enough to actually know how an audience works.
Yeah,
that's an animal in itself, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm in awe of anyone that's got like that kind of natural stagecraft, whatever that is. Like when you see someone that can really just control.
Yeah, it's funny. I've worked and learned from a lot of really greats. Some of the people I've played with have been really great at sort of talking to an audience and stuff like that. But the trick is talk to them, and you know it always works.
Yeah, what you were saying earlier about treating the audience as one person.
Yeah, it does, and that one person can shift anywhere along the room.
Yeah,
and look at the back, you know, and it's sort of you actually focus on, and in the end they go a bit like this.
Yeah, kind of sinking the seat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then I've worked in the room, so within 2 or 3 songs, I've actually looked pretty much at everybody that's in front of me.
Yeah.
And things like that. And so, as I said, that's a trick I learned from other things I've done, you know, and actually giving sort of talks on sort of musical instruments and demonstrations, and talking is the important thing. And not just being mechanical. Oh yeah, well this is a guitar. It sounds like this. You know, it's more a case of this is a guitar, and it's an amazing guitar because it's made of this, it's made of that.
Yeah.
And typically you may hear somebody playing this with it, and this is how you get the sound. That pickup,
yeah.
And go through all the what would be boring if you were something else. As I said, actually for me, doing the demos over the years, in music shops, etc., and some of the sort of town halls, a lot of the guys stupidly would bring their wives. And I'd talk to them directly. I'd say, what are you doing here? Are you here to stop and buy a guitar? And they go, yeah, of course. You know, well, I spoke to him earlier. You don't know that.
Yeah.
He's like this. Yeah. And what you put aside for your shoes, you can spend on guitar. So, because they'd all laugh. So you've got a warm audience straight away.
Yeah,
you've got a receptive audience.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
It's the warm up and things like that.
Yeah.
And those guys, generally speaking, would buy a guitar at the end of that because you've set them all.
You settled them in, you broke the ice. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All that sort of stuff. And it's the same thing for any audience, in actual fact. You're speaking to an audience, but you're the man here doing that just now, which is, you know. So you've got a few important shows coming up, haven't you?
Yeah, playing very local, actually. My old haunt, in Colchester with Nat Myers in November.
Yeah, where's that?
That's at the Crossroads. Remind me of the venue. St Leonard's.
St Leonard's, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
Again, it's one of those things where as soon as you move away from somewhere, that's when you start playing that area.
Yeah,
when it's no longer
I know it myself.
Yeah, but I'm going to be playing my buddy Nat. He's coming all the way from Kentucky, so to get him somewhere so local is a real treat, you know. And then about a week after that, I've got a show at the Grace in London.
Oh right, great!
Headline show with the band. So
good.
Doing a bit of a kind of a belated album launch, a very belated album launch. My debut record came out September last year.
Yeah, what's that called?
Red Eye Radio.
Red Eye Radio, okay.
Yeah, so that was my debut record. So we're doing a kind of the album launch that we never did for that, and then also bringing out an EP in November to kind of support that show.
I'll put all the details sort of attached to the podcast as well, so you can see them if you want to see Jack. Just the ticket offices will be on there as well, so everything you need to know to pop along and see him. Some of the tours you've done, you've been to the States, haven't you? When did you come back from there?
Yeah, I came back just over a month ago.
Oh, right,
So that was my first kind of run over there music-wise. We did. I flew into Nashville, played the Underdog, which was great. That's kind of been on my radar for a while, and then wound our way up through Kentucky, West Virginia, and Ohio. So,
oh right, fantastic.
Yeah, did just under 3 weeks. I think about 15 shows. I think we did.
Yeah.
And, rented a Toyota Corolla and ended up getting a Dodge Charger. So it was like the ultimate Appalachian experience.
Real cowboy.
Yeah, exactly. It was great. So,
well, you've got to wear the clothes as well, haven't you? So
that's it.
It's the whole thing. The right hat and everything. That's good.
Yeah.
And of course, that's the right area too. I mean, I think country music is still the biggest seller in America in terms of downloads and stuff. Beyonce, you know, Texas Hold'em. It's one of the most downloaded songs ever, apparently.
Yeah.
Incredible for a black woman to be in the white market.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Absolutely powerhouse. Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah,
funny enough, I do that song with my band.
Amazing. Everyone was getting so worked up about that, and I couldn't see any downside to it.
There is no downside.
There's no downside to it, that I could see. So that's been cool, and then this year it's just been kind of one pinch me moment after another. Really, I opened for Sleep at the Wheel and. Corb Lund when he came over, Heavy Wagons. Next month I'm off to the Netherlands to play with the White Buffalo and stuff.
Well, you lived in Holland for a while, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Hartelijk bedankt.
Hartelijk bedankt, Ik spreek een klein beetje Nederlands. There 18 months, and again, as soon as I moved back here, that was when I'm now going back over to the
Well, that happens, doesn't it? You're never known in your own territory. Sometimes if you stay there, you'll die before anybody knows who you are.
Yeah, for sure.
You have to get out there to come back for the stories.
Yeah, but
definitely.
No, Netherlands is great. I've kind of got family there now. My fiance, she's Dutch, so we've got family over there. So it's always nice to visit. And
Holland's one of my favourite countries.
Yeah, got my first headline tour over there to announce in a couple of weeks for May next year.
Right, brilliant.
Really fun.
Yeah, I'd like to come out and see you. Actually, I might just do that.
Oh, do it,
so
man.
I've got a lot of
Come
friends.
up for a few
I lived
summers.
in Holland for 3 years. In Vlaardingen, near Rotterdam.
Yeah, lovely part of the country.
Or
as well.
Scheveningen.
Yeah, Scheveningen, yeah. That's it, yeah, it's all... See, I always find it crazy, a country that takes 3 hours to drive across has dialects,
Exactly.
you know? And I get the mick taken out of me by friends in Amsterdam, because I talk like a farmer, apparently, because I learn Brabants, you know? So,
Well, yeah, it's that accent. It's really funny because they do pin you down.
They really do.
Sort of in Friesland and sort of up in the north, that's part of the old English
Yeah.
language. In fact, you know.
Yeah,
And
Friesland,
I've found it not too difficult to understand Dutch because you can see the old English words in there.
Yeah.
And the other thing, of course, in the 16th century, there were a lot of Dutch sailors coming over here, spreading swear words, which some of them we use now, the Anglo-Saxon words that they brought
Oh, I
across.
can think of a couple off the top of my head, yeah.
Godverdomme as well.
Yeah. See, that's so funny to me, that word in particular, because that's the one that always gets me chewed out by my fiancée and her family.
All right.
If I say it, that's...
Well,
the worst thing.
they're not bodily parts over there, it's religious stuff,
Yeah.
isn't it? You know, you've got to be very careful. So for all you Dutch listeners, I'm so sorry. for what I just said.
There'll be a big old bleep over that one, yeah.
Exactly, we'll do that.
But yeah, it's beautiful, man. I love going over there, and the people have always been so friendly, and, you know, work with a couple of great promoters and distributors and stuff there, so...
So what's been the highlight for you? I know how it broke, but what's been the highlight so far? Difficult question, I know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean... Yeah, bringing out my record last year was something I didn't think I'd do, if at all, for a long time. So to do it at 25 at the time and to have the reaction it did, I'm completely independent in terms of labels and things like that. That was a real highlight, and then obviously the US tour was just kind of a dream to kind of go out. And when the record came out, it kind of resonated with a lot of folks in Kentucky and West Virginia and places like that. So to go over and finally meet a lot of those folks.
Yeah, fantastic.
Some of those
great
rooms
experience.
just,
Have you met any of the big country stars, Dolly Parton or any people like that?
I haven't met Dolly. No, I've not met kind of half the ones I want to, but yeah, everyone I have met is just a dream. Yeah, I hope so. I got time, I think, and kind of the more I'm doing these festivals and stuff, the more I'm just kind of can't believe my name's on that too. And
it's an incredible story. Collect those lanyards and bring them home. Bring some over here for me to add to mine.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'll see if I can get some duplicates for you. Yeah,
exactly. You've got to join us. We're doing some shows later on.
I'd love to, man. Yeah,
if you're free, come along and
if
do
you're
it.
over in the Netherlands, you
putting together an Americana band. I want you to come and guest and do some of your songs.
That'd be a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, we'll definitely arrange that. So tell me, who is your main influence in terms of actually writing songs, and what do you think about? How do you go about writing your songs? Yeah,
see, I'm not a natural. I mean, first off, I'm not a natural singer at all. I still find it the most unnatural thing ever. I'm a guitarist. And then kind of got press ganged into singing by a buddy of mine.
Right,
who,
good.
About 6 years ago. Yeah, very good friend. He rented a studio and said, I'll see you tonight. I was like, oh, who am I playing with? Like, who's singing? He goes, you are? I said, oh, I'm not. And he said, well, you're not going to let everyone down, are you? Because he had his mate with a camera and guy on sound.
So you quickly had to download all the words.
Basically. And then, kind of discovered a lot of the kind of songwriters who I guess, looking back, have become big influences. So John Prine is one.
Right.
He's a huge influence on me, and especially that first record. I was listening to him a lot at the time. Townes Van Zandt, Johnny Cash, Guy Clark, kind of those
all
guys
the storytellers.
The storytellers and the guys who kind of bridge like country with blues and folk as well. It's always really appealed to me.
There is a great link between the two, in actual fact, isn't there? Between the country and the blues. Well, it is country blues.
Yeah, that's what I class myself. When someone says, "Oh, what do you play?" I say like country and blues.
Country blues, from what I've heard you do and listening to your record, it sort of does fit nicely into that.
For sure.
But it will touch everybody. That's the thing.
Yeah, I think it's all. I mean, that's the beauty of guys like Blaze Foley and Townes. Like. You don't have to be a country fan to kind of resonate with the songs, because it's just like life. John Prine especially. I don't know. It's just always appealed to me, and I still got a lot to figure out, and I think it's definitely like a maturing process as well. It's funny. You do change. I've found sort of playing guitar for all these years. I won't say how many because people don't know how old I am. Well. I've got a Gibson guitar, which you've seen downstairs, which was built round about my birthday.
and the guitar is 74 years old.
So, I mean, yeah.
I still want to be a country star.
I don't think that'll ever change. I think I'll always be chasing it. And...
Yeah. Well, you never know. It's just the lucky break is actually getting people to hear you.
Yeah.
Get to listen to it. And so when you write a song, what do you think of? Are you thinking the story, or do you take something? Does something inspire you to write that song? What happens?
I mean,
do you wait for the muse to sit on your shoulder, or do you just suddenly wake up and think, "Hey, I've got an idea"?
Yeah. See, so my other gig is I do portrait paintings, and
yes,
I heard a great bit of advice from a friend of mine, Logan, who someone asked him in an interview. He's a great painter, and he said, they said, do you wait till inspiration strikes? And he's like, no, because then I wouldn't do any painting.
Got to work at it.
He's like, you just have to turn up and clock in, clock out.
Yeah, exactly. That's how the Beatles did it.
Yeah.
Those great songs came from them just playing about in the studio.
In a room, just getting there at 9, whatever. And it's kind of the same with my music, I'll just work at it, and I'm very much inspired by stories. So, literature and especially history, I love history, and don't feel like a little vignette or something, and I like exploring it. And
well, it's great in actually taking it. For me, songwriting isn't about rhyming couplets. It's about actually telling a story. And if you need a rhyming couplet, don't do it.
Yeah.
Carry on, different chord. Expand that story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I found a great group of guys like with the band that work with me in the studio and live as well, who they kind of all contribute to the song, rather than kind of overplaying stuff.
Well, that helps as well. I mean, my life has been spent sort of, especially with Steve Harley. So the band together, he'd come with the song, the few chords, and we'd change it a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Add to it.
Yeah,
But he gave us that sort of freedom to actually do that.
Yeah.
And he had a good eye and ear for people that could actually help him on his journey, and he helped us on ours too. That sort of way. It's finding people around you that's simpatico. And it's not even about talent. Talent is something other people see. Because you don't think of it like that, do you? You just think about, this is, I want to do this, I get a kick out of doing this, or whatever your motivation is. It's a difficult one, isn't it?
Yeah, I always feel like I got two, like right hands and stuff sometimes, but then, someone will say, I really like that lick, or, that chord, you play.
Well, it's a moving feast, when I jam along to bits and pieces, as I will do in a minute with one of your songs, and try not to ruin it for you.
That's what we can do, isn't it,
Exactly that.
Yeah.
A mistake, we all make mistakes. You can't get to a sentence without making a mistake.
There you go. Yeah, how's that for prescient? Yeah.
So it's really just playing what you hear and just giving it the feel that you think will enhance it. Wherever we can. Yeah.
And trying to, stay yourself as well.
Yeah.
There's been times where I've said, I should try and write a song more like this, or. And
never be tempted by that devil, because
no.
That's them being too clever.
Yeah.
If you think, I'm going to write this will suit my audience, but it's a case of actually getting your audience to suit you.
Yeah.
You build up your own following with something that's, I suppose, honest. How your approach to songwriting is how you want people to see you.
Yeah.
I think,
definitely.
The other way is you get depressed and won't want to do it.
Yeah, it's not.
Trust me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I feel it. Yeah.
It's a rocky road, but keep your eyes wide open and look in the distance.
Don't be afraid to, like you said, say yes to
stuff. Don't be afraid to
change
change things either. If you need to take old songs you've written and change them too.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I mean, the debut album, I kind of wrote in a month. Like I didn't realise that we were going.
Some of the best songs are done that way. An album.
Yeah. I figured I'd go in and record like 2 songs.
Yeah.
And
they kept coming.
Yeah. And it's really funny because that was only recorded, kind of 2 years ago, less than 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And even the way we play them live now, sometimes, my fiance or my buddy Rob, who's I've heard it right from those first demos to the album, and then since they'll be like, man, that doesn't sound anything like the record anymore. And I was like, it's kind of like. There's like a live version.
Exactly. Well, it is a stripped back version. I mean, with Steve, we did that. We had the album recorded version. I mean, he and I went out for about 2 years of just a 2-man show, 170, 180 shows in different little theatres around, some of the bigger theatres, festivals and all that sort of stuff. And it worked because for me it brought a responsibility in terms of getting some of the little licks and sounds from the actual album. Some might have been violin, some would be whatever, hammer, dulcimer. We had all sorts of instruments within that band. And so we were basically, I suppose Steve was I always used to say, he was a folk singer with a rock band up his backside.
I mean, yeah.
That's what it was.
Clearly
But we're capable of stripping a good song back.
Yeah.
You know.
That's the key thing, you know, and sometimes I'll just go out with my buddy Chris on steel, you know, which would be us two.
Yeah.
And we'll kind of deliver a version specific to the both of us of something that's on the record, but we'll try and keep like, you know, salvage little licks and stuff off the album. And
Well, I suppose little accidental things that, you know, you just play in your jam and you find sometimes you hit a wrong note, but wrong notes become right notes, as they say with blues, if you hit it twice. Yeah. You know, I actually meant to hit that note.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. No, I meant to do that, yeah.
I'll try not to get too many moments.
Yeah. Try not to have too many moments like that in any one thing, but yeah, exactly.
In that sense.
It's funny, yeah, you know, sometimes that accidental stuff, you know, that ends up becoming a thing. And I realise with the album as well, you know, that the audience and the folks listening, like, they're only ever going to know that version of that song. Yeah. So it becomes right. Because
indeed.
that is the song. You know, I've heard every version of that song and every iteration and every mess up and
I mean, that made me smile that Steve Harley did way back in the day. I have to play that solo.
Yeah.
If you deviate from it, the phone's in. But I've been jokingly going out with my band, and I say to the audience, did you know that the original solo was played on trombone? Seriously, and they go, no, I get the trombone player to play the solo. I think, nah, just joking, and then play the guitar solo. So it's all, you know, a bit of fun and actual fun.
You have to
fall for it.
Yeah, you have to though. You have to have fun like that. And
I kind of look background, you know, but what triggered the song is those conversations, building up those conversations for the audience to have. It's the stories. It's not just the singing. It's talking in between, and you know,
it's a show.
But hey, you know, you remind me of Joni Mitchell. Not the way you look. Not
I was going to say
that. But that's what she did. She wore her heart on her sleeve. And she wrote those lovely songs. I don't know if you know much about her.
I do, I'm a big fan of the band as well.
Of course,
So her performance on the last walk.
Oh, it's just incredible.
And her stuff with I love that. There's a great outtake version of Our House.
It's
just her and Graham Nash.
Fantastic.
And he messes up as well. And he says an expletive, not dissimilar from the Dutch.
But people do want to sort of hear that.
Yeah,
you know, they want to hear the humanity. If it's too sort of polished and accurate some of the time, I'm not making excuses, but if it is, it's sort of, they might as well be listening to the CD.
Yeah.
And some well-known bands go and do that. They stand there almost motionless or running around the stage like idiots, which is fun anyway. But they are not doing anything other than the exact arrangement.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want that.
No.
I'd want certain solos to be played that way, but I want to see the guys. Yeah. What's behind those sounds? What created those? What are these guys really like? You know, how much can you get the tickets for?
Exactly.
As we know, it's just current, isn't
it? But it's true. You know, you want to. Yeah, if you're going to see a band live, I want to see a band live and doing stuff that I can't hear on the record, you know. And those like early Crosby, Stills and Nash like outtakes and stuff. I love stuff like that because it just gives you an insight, you know.
And the fragile voice of Neil Young when he joined them as well.
Like
you remind me a lot of Joni Mitchell in terms of your approach, because you know the first song she ever recorded?
I don't know.
House of the Rising Sun.
Really?
She was 17 years old, and it was a local radio station, and she did it with the ukulele. And Google it. And she does the traditional way, because it was a traditional folk song.
Yeah.
Way back in the day. But she was also an artist, and you know that too.
Yeah, and
a good artist.
I don't know if you know this, but the first song I ever put out was House of the Rising Sun.
Oh right, which
is very strange.
And I didn't know that. I did not know that.
That was when my buddy Press gang me into singing. That was the song we did. So yeah, I didn't know that. That's amazing. That's cool. Yeah, Joni's awesome. You know, she's one of the few people I haven't seen that I'd love to. You know.
Well, she hates flying, so if you do see her at all nowadays,
it'll be over in the US.
I don't think she'll be doing any sort of touring shows anymore, because
I can't see it.
She's a bit fragile now.
Yeah.
But I love her. Fell in love with her and the music.
Anyone can go on stage with Robbie Robertson and Levin Helm and hold their own.
Well, the tuning, of course, you know, she had polio as a child.
Yeah.
And that's why she did all those great tunings. You know, and I forget the name of the guy now, but he was her mentor, and he taught all those tunings, and she on the back of that wrote those songs. You know, it's paradise, and those lovely bits, and you always seem to go, but you don't know what you got for this song. Play paradise, put out a parking lot.
I mean, she's such an underrated guitarist as well. You know, like
She was brilliant, absolutely. The whole thing with her, and
like her eye or ear for you know, like kind of just these crazy progressions, you know, like Coyote. You know?
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. And the jazz stuff that she did a bit later on as well.
Yeah, it's pure jazz, you know. When I was watching Ray and the band, like Asleep at the Wheel, you know, it's all like these incredible, you know, jazz inversions and things like that, and just out of the box, and I think that's really what makes it special, you know.
Well, it's this whole fusion of things, you know. For me, it's a little bit of jazz, a little bit of country, a little bit of this, a little bit of
Western swing, you know. It's kind of got everything, And
it's the songs. If we do a cover song, then we'll do it, and we're trying to embody all of that stuff. You know, a few altered chords in between it, and you know, not for the sake of it, just because it's in my head.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the thing. And the other guys can follow doing that. Yeah.
Can't fix. You know?
Exactly. But anyway, anything else you want to tell me?
Oh man, I mean, it's an honour to meet you finally, man. I don't know how we've
likewise
missed each other, you know, being in
local boys,
local and similar circles, and but it's nice to finally be here, man. I think
you eventually meet everybody, don't you? You know,
you do.
Lucky,
you know? And with cyberspace and stuff, you know, we're all buddies now. Anyway,
absolutely.
So it's just
so
a matter of
on
time.
all my social sort of media thing, this man will be here, and probably likewise as well.
Yeah, for sure, likewise.
And we're going to do the Key Theatre in Sudbury on the 29th and 30th of November this year. And if Jack's free, I'm going to get him to come down and do some country stuff with us.
I'd love to, man. That'd be an honour. Yeah, I'd love that.
What are you going to do? What are you going to play for me?
So we're back in the studio in October, and I've been playing this one for, I guess, 6 years. Since I played my first solo show, I've been playing this one.
Oh, okay. What's it called?
It's called James Alley Blues. It's an old one by Richard Rabbit Brown, recorded in the 30s, the Depression era. I heard it through Willie Watson, who's one of my favourite kind of performers and guitarists and writers.
Yeah.
And it's really funny because I used to play it and it was just a cool blues song.
Right.
But it took on this whole new meaning after COVID.
Yeah.
Because all the couples in the audience had been locked up in a room together for 2 years. Right?
Yeah.
And the song it's kind of like written from the perspective of the guy in the relationship, and he can't do anything wrong. You know, it must always be always her fault and stuff.
Exactly.
And it's great when you're on stage because you can see when couples give each other side eye.
Yeah, exactly.
So they think they're being stealthy.
Yeah.
It makes
you
the couple squirm.
Yeah, songs do. I mean, you look at the audience. For me, it's always about sort of the response. And as I said when I did the demos and things like that, I deliberately provoke people to see what the response is.
Yeah. Well, this song's a provoker, and I'd say playing it solo, but I'm going to cut a band version in the studio next month. So James Alley Blues.
Yeah. Okay, off you go.
Ain't now nothing like they used to be. All times ain't now nothing like they used to be. I'm telling you the truth, Lord, now take from me. Since I was born in the country, she thinks I'm easy to rule. Since I was born in the country, she thinks I'm easy to rule. Hitch me to a wagon, she won't drive me like a mule. You know I bought the groceries and now I pay the rent. You know I bought the groceries and I pay the rent. Gotta make me wash up clothes, but I got good common sense. How do you want me to love you? Keep on treating me. How do you want me to love you? Keep on treating me. Oh, you just won't buy me that Robbie Clever CD. Yeah, tell him, Robbie. Sugar, baby, make me the salt for salt. I give you sugar for sugar, baby, you give me salt for salt. And if you can't get along with me, it's your own damn fault. You ought to be buried alive. Almost like we planned it, man. That was a lot of fun.
Well, nice to meet you, mate.
Yeah, likewise, man.
And we'll get you back again.
I'd love that. Thanks, man. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.